Hi Gilson, here we are at the end of 2020. Last chapel, you made it. Over this year, we have had a lot of things to do that have been a little bit different, that have thrown us, that have been a bit challenging to how we approach life and how we approach the things that we do every day. There was a lot of, I guess it took a bit of risk to actually engage and do things differently to what we normally would do it. And today, I want to talk to you about what stops you from taking risks in life. Here we are, we know our theme this year has been, wherever you go, the God of the universe is with you. And what a great theme that has been through 2020. What are the risks that you have had to take this year that you have actually not taken? Maybe it's something in a relationship, where a friendship where you needed to invest in that friendship. Maybe it's in your family, where instead of investing in your family, you've decided to take the easy way and just not invest and being a room hermit. Or maybe it's with your studies over this year, where you've decided not to risk failure by not engaging and not trying, because then you wouldn't be seen as a failure. Maybe it's in something else, maybe in some sort of sport that you're good at, but not quite sure of how good. Risk, what does it look like? Now, our text this year has been from Joshua 1. Joshua 1 comes straight after Joshua, who had been the assistant of Moses for 40 years. Can you imagine being second fiddle, just carrying the coat of your mentor and doing things that your mentor did for 40 years? And God says to him, get ready. Today, I want to challenge you to be ready when God asks you to be ready. And what that means is being ready when you're asked to be ready and willing to go and take the challenge. Now, Joshua, he and Caleb had been the two when Moses had sent spies to Canaan 40 years earlier. Now, really, everything was the same back then as it was now when Joshua was going into the land. There were still big giants, there were still big grapes, there were still big grasshoppers, there were still fortified cities and ferocious warriors that were awaiting them. But 10 of the 12 spies said, no, you don't want to go in there. It's great land, but we can't take it. Joshua and Caleb alone said, you know what? If God's with us, it doesn't matter how ferocious they are. It doesn't matter what it is. We're willing to take the risk because we know that God is with us. What is it that you need to take a risk on as we come to this year end? As you get ready, you've got another month before you set your New Year's resolutions. What is it that you need to say, you know what? I'm willing to choose to know that the God of the universe is with me and He's got me in this place and I can do the things that He is wanting me to do and make decisions to invest and be outside ourselves. You see, it's interesting that when Joshua was given that command to get ready, he was already ready. His character had already been formed. He had the character that would carry him through even in the hard times. And sometimes when we're talented, and I'm talking to you guys that are naturals, develop your character, the things that make you you. Develop ways, reasons for living your life. What you won't do. Will you cheat? Will you lie? Will you, get with your friends when they're doing the wrong things? As a police officer, I arrested a lot of people who were just a part of the crowd that were doing break and enters or shop stealing. will your character stand up to where your talent is going to take you? And to be ready, you actually need to look at who you are, what you stand for, and who's behind your character. What are the principles that you live your life by? It's interesting that Joshua, it wasn't only be ready, but God said to him, take these people with you. We live in a very isolated world, and sometimes it can be very selfish. A lot of times over this time, think about this last 6 months, 12 months. What have you had to worry about? Maybe that your family would be supplied, but normally that wasn't your role. All you had to do was worry about yourself and getting through this year. And sometimes the anxiety that rolls into our lives because of those choices to focus on ourselves is not a godly thing, and we can get anxious about how well we're doing, how we're perceived, what sort of opportunities we'll get in the future because of our past failings and how bad we are at something. But I want to tell you today that if you take your focus off yourself, get up off your couches, get out from behind the computer screens, get out and look around you and see how you can take other people to have the great things that you've got. Your family may be doing well, but next door may not be. Other people in our world, we can't have in one country alone 100,000 people that are being trafficked. That's just not right in our free society. We want to have everybody to have the opportunity to have food, to have education, to have freedom, to the ability to be all they can be. We talk a lot here at Gilson about being made in the image of God. How do we help others be all they can be? And you'll find when you start to invest in other people's lives, it will change you. You'll get so much joy out of it that it will change how you approach and how you see things and the opportunities that you were given. And I think for Joshua, he was given the opportunity because he invested in those around. He found a ministry looking after Moses, and he was faithful in that. Faithful, available, and teachable. That was Joshua when he was getting ready to be ready. At the start of this school, when Mr. Vodell had first taken over as the principal, and he was starting to help the community see how great Gilson was, and he realised that we had a lot. It was a great school. We had a reasonable facility, but he thought, what? It's not right that we just keep this to ourselves. So he was told about Myanmar and thought, what? I'll get some friends around. And before you know it, my mission was formed up because he had a passion to help and carry other people into the blessing that God had given him. Who are you going to help today be all they can be? Who are you going to help to have the good things that you have? Well, I hope that you can send an SMS that can help somebody be happier. Or maybe duck next door to the older people who struggle with some things around the house and go, what? I can help. You could actually, Pastor Brado has been an inspiration to me over this lockdown period because he's been going faithfully in with ADRA into the city and giving food to the homeless through that and been faithful. And I've heard the joy that he's had by actually engaging in that. So I guess my challenge to you is be ready to be ready, get your character ready. Don't let the things that are your struggles be the definition of you. Take other people with you. Help them to be all they can be because you'll get so much joy out of that. And what God says is that wherever you go, He will be with you when you are aligning yourself with His principles of helping other people be all they can be. And sometimes we muck it up. God gives forgiveness for that. And you can have forgiveness that comes through his Son, because we're going into that season where we celebrate the birth of this little baby Jesus, and he came to this earth, the God of the universe came to this earth so that you could have a new start, a great future and a hope, and know that this God wasn't just watching from the edges of the universe, but was watching from right here, and that his Holy Spirit will go with you wherever you go.